Hello and welcome. We are going to be taking a look at two other texts that deal with American landscape. To Build a Fire by Jack London and some selections of poetry by Robert Frost. Most notably, the one that you'll be familiar with is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. You've probably come across this poem many times in your educational career. So there are a couple of things that I want to say, and then I want to orient you to the course material that is presented on this page. And that is, when you think about the work of London and Frost, they're invoking landscape, nature, in very different ways than Walt Whitman is in Song of Myself. So, as we discussed, Whitman is really using Song of Myself as a kind of unifying symbol, a way of saying, look at diverse America, look at polarized America, and yet all of these people from different walks of life are experiencing the natural world in the same way, right? And so the American landscape can be a kind of unifying force for a very diverse and disparate population. Jack London, in particular, is using landscape very differently. In his short story, To Build a Fire, landscape is something to be dominated or conquered. And so he's really looking at this idea in some ways of manifest destiny, of man's entitlement to dominate nature, and he's commenting on that. And so, as you read the story, I want you to draw your own conclusions about what his message is. Right? What is he saying about that attitude that it is that man and particularly American man is entitled to conquer the land? Robert Frost's work is much more reflective and contemplative. Again, you're probably most familiar with Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. So think about the way in which Frost is also using, Frost is also using landscape in the natural world to comment on the kind of internal experience of the speaker in the poem, and what that says maybe about the American experience more generally. I've curated some resources here to help you work through these texts, understanding that many of us are probably trying to squeeze a summer course into also working. So there is a audiobook of the short story here, something that maybe you could listen to on a commute. Um, there's also a short video that discusses and analyzes the short story. So please read the short story or listen to the short story before watching the analysis video. That way you can come to your own conclusions and interpretations before your mind is clouded by the interpretations of someone else. I also have a brief biography about Robert Frost and a reading of Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Night. So you can both read the short poem and listen to it as well, so that you can hear the way in which it is intended to be read. So your assignment is to first write a paragraph that summarizes the material on chapters 1 through 3 in the ebook, and to point to which ideas you find useful. Note that this is not the anthology ebook. It is a separate ebook that comes along with the purchase of your text, whether you have a physical text or whether you bought the electronic text. You should have access to this. I've included a link. So if you are looking for the textbook, it is right here. So you can just go ahead and click that link. And what will come up is a screen that looks like this. And the chapters are right here. So I'm asking you to read chapter 1, writing about American literature, chapter 2, the kinds of writing about American literature, and chapter 3, generating ideas. These are all very, very brief chapters, so it should not take you very long to read through these. Right? So that's that. If I navigate back to the Blackboard page and return to the journal, you can see that the second part of the journal entry is asking you to compare Robert Frost's treatment of the landscape to Jack London's. Again, you might focus on Stopping by Snowy Woods and think about the way in which the landscapes in these texts are similar, how they're different, and what they might express about American ethos, so our values or our identity. As always, feel free to reach out if you have any questions or concerns.